Now just a little bit of workshop hygiene here. Whenever you're working with hand tools, of course, they're going to get dull edges. Now in this case I was working with this chisel earlier, and as chance would have it, Murphy's Law, it fell off the bench and landed on, of course, its sharp edge. So when the edge is damaged like that, or dulled, or the honing bevel is gone, you need to redo it again. It's always best practice to actually hone it prior to putting it back on your rack again. If you don't do that, you get into a bad habit, and that's where every dull chisel is back on the rack, and when you need a sharp one, they're all not sharpened. So I have a practice, best practice for me is this, that when something happens to a chisel or it dulls its edge, prior to finishing that day or whatever, I would re-hone the bevel and put it back on the rack so it's sharp again. So I always have a rack full of sharp chisels rather than a rack full of dull chisels. So again, I'm just going to hone this. It's a very quick process, and as you're watching on camera there, all I have to do is this here. And the main point when you are honing, the only thing that you can't do, you can use any technique you want. There's so many people showing different ways and methods of doing it, but I always just keep it back to basics. As you run the chisel, the only thing you can't do is you can't do that. You can't let the chisel roll. I would never let the chisel roll. Now there is a way of sharpening doing that, but I find the straight bevel, the flat bevel most effective. So that's the only thing you can't do. Everything else you can do. So get yourself in a locking position and hone your bevel. Now I'll do this in a further video just to show it in more detail, but once you haven't got a burr on there, get your stropping block, draw, 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 and draw just on the flat there like so. And then just to check the proof in the pudding, of course, is when you're going to check the edge, and once you've it nice and crisp and sharp again, now put it back on the rack. That's behind me here, maybe off camera, but then it's ready to go back on the rack, and when I go to use it next time, it's lovely and sharp for me. Hope that's useful to some of you. Mahuas vacant, good on you for looking. Feckin' tu galua, see you soon. Slán go fóill. Bye for now.